Hello everybody, welcome back to Killer Film Reviews. Today we'll be reviewing John Wick 4. This is a rated R film, so any contents in this review are not meant for an under 18 audience. Please be wary of that, as well as with any past reviews that are rated R, they are not meant to be viewed by those under 18. You have been warned. So without further ado, let's get into John Wick 4 and what I thought of it. John Wick 4 was an amazing masterpiece from start to finish. It had a lot of good action scenes, a lot of good story, and a lot of high stakes. In all honesty, I didn't find there to be anything I really disliked with this film. I thought it was a nice 10 out of 10. And I feel it really deserves that for the twists that it has and the turns in it. And I really feel that this really is one of the best chapters yet in the John Wick franchise. There's more to come, no doubt, but this was one of my favorite films of the franchise. Without further ado, let's get into some spoilers. Click off if you don't want spoilers, I guess. Notable actors are Keanu Reeves as John Wick, obviously, Lawrence Fishburne as the Bowery King, George Yari as the Elder, Lance Reddick as Charon, may he rest in peace, one of the best parts of any of the John Wick movies. Is one more role, I believe, and then there's no more appearances by Lance Reddick in the John Wick franchise. I believe it's in the movie The Ballerina, which will follow after the events of John Wick 4. Clancy Brown as Harbinger, Ian McShane as Winston, Marco Zarro as Chitty, Bill Skarsgård as Marquis, Johnny Yen as Kane. I knew I recognized him. I just was having a hard time placing him. But yeah, essentially the same guy that you know plays Ip Man, Donnie Yen. He's in this film, which I found to be nice. You know, seeing him sitting there and do his little part. You know, Hikaru Sanada as Shimazu, Shamir Anderson as Tracker. Oh no, Shamir Anderson as Mr. Nobody. Literally, that's his name in this. I expect there'll be more plot details given as to who this character actually is in later films. Runs around with a dog. And really good at sniping. Really, really a fun part of the plot. Many really good moments between Mr. Nobody and John Wick. It's like hilarious as hell. I did not mean to press that key. Ugh. So, oh yeah, and Reina Samama as Akira. So the film starts out, well, I don't want to give away too many plot details, but the film starts out where it ended with John Wick 3 with, you know, John tracks down the Elder and basically confronts him. Elder basically says there's nothing you can do, your fate's sealed from the High Table, because the High Table's the ones that control everything and all that. We find that the Marquis was being used by the High Table as retribution for Winston letting John live, because the High Table's and stupid and knows that John's alive. And basically, this Marquis guy is pretty well established as not being one to F around with. For the most part, you don't mess with him. Pretty cruel in how he treats people for the most part. Important plot details kind of happen in this scene, so I'm not going to spoil what happens. Only to say that it takes place in the Continental. you know, the main one from the first movie. Important black details. Follow, I don't really want to spoil that scene because it's good. John eventually is roped into everything. Winston basically helps John figure out what's going on, gives John a leading as to what to do next. And this is after major plot events take place at the Tokyo Continental, where we first get introduced to Kane. Or Kane reappears, I should say. Kane really isn't one to mess around. He's blind, but he has a good sense of where he is. And if you watch the Ip Man movies like I did, you'll see some familiarity with how he fights. Doesn't necessarily use a lot of Wing Chun, but just a little bit. Just a little bit. The biggest thing with this film was just the action scenes were well paced and all that. And I'm really trying hard not to give away too many spoilers here because the film was really that good. I really want people to go into it and enjoy it. You have a lot of character development with John in this movie and with the other actors and actresses. Oh, Amy Kwan, you know, as Mia. A lot of character development there. Really try not to give away too much other than to say this movie's really, really good. John has like this epic scene toward the end of the film that you'll just, you'll appreciate me not spoiling it. It's really epic. He really goes through a long fight, and it's worth it to see the payoff. Is Marquis the kind of person to get his hands dirty? Not really. But then again, giving away too many plot details, I don't like doing that. But I was really impressed at Mr. Nobody and his development as a character, seeing how effortlessly Mr. Nobody steals the show. Kane does as well. They don't really see too much of the Bowery King in this, you know, Lawrence Fishburne is not really prominent in this film too much. It's kind of more relegated to background. Overall, I think John Wick 4 really sets up John Wick 5 or any other future continuations of the franchise in a good manner. You know, but like I said, I ain't giving away the spoilers. Really trying hard not to give away too many spoilers because this is even better than Spider-Man No Way Home in a lot of ways. I just really find the whole franchise to be really well written. It reminds me of Christopher Nolan Batman with how well it's written. You know, the whole DC universe these days isn't looking too hot. We've been trying to push this whole message of release the Ayer cut of S Squad. You know, the movie that came out in 2016 and had the remake. Trying to get the Ayer cut released, but for whatever reason, the executives at Warner Bros. Are being stupid and not releasing it. Well, they have this hit of John Wick. This would be up there in hits if even half of what's true is true about the Ayer cut, because it's a more complete story compared to the regular Suicide Squad. You know, honestly, Suicide Squad 2016 was kind of gimped. Honestly, for me, I don't even bother with the standard version of that film. I only bother with the extended, and that's it. Because it at least fills in some of the plot holes. Seriously, Ayer cut needs to get released already. It's been long enough. And yes, restore the Snyderverse too. Always be supportive of those. You know, I've always tweeted about both movements from time to time. I didn't see Shazam 2 because I kind of was in bad shape from what I understand. There was really bad film, I guess. A lot of people weren't even watching it, and it left theaters early from what I understand. I think the problem with DC is that they can put out really good hits like the John Wick franchise, but then they struggle with their comic book side because they keep changing who's actually running the show. They're not actually listening to the fans. Like, you have an easy win here, James Gunn. Do the Snyderverse to Netflix, or make it HBO Max exclusive, whatever subscription service it's going to be called now. It's just annoying when they have good films like John Wick 4, but then they can't seem to figure it out with everything else, you know, with their superhero films. I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't too impressed by Ant-Man Quantumania. I really was let down by that film. I'll have a more in-depth review of that when the time comes. But for now, John Wick 4, 10 out of 10. I enjoyed it. Good movie. Kind of film to see with your bros, you know, if you want to hang out and have a good time. GF might like it too. But, yeah. Till next time, I hope you enjoyed this Killer Film Reviews video, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching Killer Film Reviews.